What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're covering some r/PettyRevenge. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and maybe that notification bell too. And that is, of course, if you like the content. If you don't, then, dislike it. And a huge thank you to the members of our channel. You are truly appreciated. You keep me going every day. You really do. So thank you so much. And with that being said, let's get in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from Trin80. I dipped my ex's contact lenses in toilet water after he told me I was a slut and I'm not allowed to wear a bikini without him. We stayed in a cabin with 15 of his best friends and their girlfriends. It was my first time meeting all of them since I just moved in with him about a month ago. I decided I was going to take the time to get to know some of their girlfriends and maybe make some friends. One girl, who is my best friend now, even though I broke up with my ex, asked if I wanted to go in the hot tub. I was so happy and said yes, so I got my bikini and went in the hot tub with her, where we laughed and talked for about an hour. Soon another guy and his wife joined us. I was so happy, they seemed like they liked me. When we got about 2 hours later, my ex was pissed. I didn't know why and he just said, "I haven't even eaten lunch because you were too busy being a slut in the hot tub and never brought me food." I was so confused and sad at the time, but I was really angry. So that night I dumped out the contact solution his lenses were soaking in and replaced them with toilet water. That was the only way I could sleep that night. The next day his eyes were red and kept complaining that his eyes were itchy. I don't know if that's petty revenge or not. That's toilet water carries a lot of bacteria. That could be really bad if wow. A couple of comments from this one. One from Emzel May. Okay, so what he said was completely wrong, but, and I'll get downvoted for this, toilet water carries so much bacteria. He could have contracted a horrible infection and gone blind. I'm all for petty revenge, but that's just disgusting. A comment from Power for Power. I bet his vision was pretty shitty after that. Wow. And as our channel likes a vote here and there, I put a poll on this story, so don't forget to vote in that top right hand corner, where you can vote if the revenge was too much, too little, or OP was a butthole. Our next story is from J. Rossetti. My landlord was kind of a bitch, so I pay her rent at the latest possible time. So my landlord is kind of a bitch sometimes. I believe in frank and honest with whoever I'm renting with, so they can prepare and they know what's up. When COVID hit, I gave a heads up that we'd be fine for a few months due to savings, but it's possible we might run into some issues if the lockdown lasts too long. But no worries, we'll get caught up as soon as we could get going on our 3 businesses. She gave this big lecture about how if we can't pay rent we need to move out, and she has lawyers for things like this and will send us a 1-month letter. I blew it off after telling her that she should really talk to that lawyer since she legally can't kick anyone out right now, and he'd set her straight. 2 months later I talked and said things are getting a bit tight and we might run into trouble in a month or two, but I'll make sure you have at least a month notice. A few days later, the local paper put out info that Illinois might pass a rent freeze and allow affected landlords and such to get paid out a pot, so everyone was okay. This was great news. I shared her the link and she calls me on the phone to bark at me how I just need to move out if I can't pay and she has bills to pay and worry about how she'll call her lawyer if she has to. I hung up on her mid-sentence. She called again. I ignored it. She texted me the same thing she was bitching about. I told her she needs to stop making idle threats, that the only time she has problems with me is when she is rude and I tell her to pound sand, and that whether she likes it or not, she's still bound to the law. Well, lucky for her, they haven't wiped out late fees for late rent by law, but it is in my contract that we can pay up until the 5th with no late fee. So now instead of paying 2 or 3 days early, I have a monthly alarm set and I send her the funds at 10 minutes before the cutoff and take a screenshot. If they waive late fees and evictions at any point, I fully intend to withhold and save her rent until the latest legal day possible, to avoid penalties and pay her then. And then some screenshots are supplied which I will show at the end of the story. I'm a grown adult, I'm not going to be lectured and berated when all I'm doing is saying hey. If there is any trouble I'll let you know. When COVID first hit, my words to her were the effect of, all of our jobs are cancelled and we can't operate our business. We already did work the last few months to cover our bills until summer, but we might run into issues then. This was before there was even talk of a stimulus. Her response then was just as bad as now. Calling me, yelling at me, threatening me with a lawyer. All of this because I was being a responsible adult and letting her know our situation just in case. She has been paid on time or early up to this month. Now I pay her the latest I'm allowed, as per our agreed upon contract. If the state passed any laws allowing people to pay late without penalties, those apply to mortgages of landlords. So regardless of what we do, we're not screwing her and causing her to suffer monetary losses, since the bank wouldn't be allowed to charge her or foreclose either. For fuck's sake, some of you really just come to silly conclusions. I'm being petty, not harmful. At no point is she being told that we're not paying, just that the possibility is there based on the circumstances, and that would make sure she has a month's heads up. As you can probably tell from the last couple of sentences there, a lot of the comments are, it's sort of 50-50 in the comments, they're backing OP or not. So I'm going to ask you in this situation, I'm going to put a vote like we do in most of our videos now. Do you think that the OP is the arsehole in this situation or not? Vote in the top right hand corner and don't forget to leave a comment below. Our next story comes from Failure Cloud. I sprinkled birdseed on my roommate's girlfriend's car. For a little context, I write girlfriend in quotes because they are so on again, off again, and have such a toxic relationship that I don't even know what to call them. Lol. I'll call her Hannah. I have a roommate called Dan. I'm not really fond of Dan because he is my boyfriend's BFF, so I tolerate his stupidity. That's a whole different rant. I just don't talk to him unless it's important. Dan invited Hannah over during the quarantine to work their rocky relationship out, since they were broken up at that time. Which obviously really annoyed me, since me and my boyfriend, we live together with Dan, are practicing quarantine rules by not having outsiders over. I tried messaging Dan about when she was leaving and to not have people over during quarantine, because I would need to disinfect the whole house once she is gone/done touching doorknobs. Apparently his phone died, but I have heard Hannah up and about in Dan's room, so I decided to message her. Long story short, she was really fucking rude and disrespectful about the boundaries I was setting for the house, and told me that she didn't care about how I felt about having visitors over during quarantine. A little more context, she used to live with Dan, but they broke up and she moved out, so I think she feels entitled to be here still, even though she no longer pays rent. On to the story. Dan and Hannah decided that instead he would live at her house for quarantine, and that his car works even better. Even though he shouldn't drive because he has a revoked license and needs an interlock installed before it's supposed to be driven by anyone, and that she would keep her car parked up under a tree in front of our apartment for a month or more. Well, I absolutely don't like Hannah. She was kind of, I don't know, but she wasn't nice before. She was disrespectful to me in my own damn home. So after about a week of her car being there, I took birdseed and sprinkled it all over the roof of her car for 3 weeks straight, till it got towed. This really wasn't me. I'm not that much of an arsehole, no matter how much I didn't like her. I think the neighbours thought it was abandoned. It's normal to have a few bird shits on your car parked under a tree, but this, it was glorious. Because of all the bird seed and placement of the car, there was bird shit all over it, and you can tell it's not just a normal amount of bird shit, it's excessive, and clearly something was done. Me and my bird seed, to make it worse. Hee hee hee. I hope it takes several car washes to get it off. That's probably going to take some of the paint off with it, I should imagine. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below. And vote if you think it was too much revenge, or not enough, or just perfect. Our next story is from MB Embroidery. Sabotaging milk bags for my mum. I, 18 female, live in Canada, where we have bagged milk. For those who don't know how that works, you buy milk in big bags that contain 3 smaller bags that are full of milk. You put the bag in a jug and then cut the corner away from the handle, and voila, you have bagged milk ready to pour. Now, I am lactose intolerant, and though I have pills I can take, I tend to just avoid milk in general, as I don't particularly enjoy it anyways. My mum on the other hand adores milk. She drinks about 1.5 to 2 litres of milk a day. When she sits down to watch TV, she will often ask me to fill up her milk cup. I get annoyed sometimes because I can get up 3 to 4 times while I'm trying to work on something just to get her milk. But the thing that really annoys me is when I have to replace the milk bag. Objectively, it's easy, but I don't drink milk, except for maybe 1 to 2 times a month. So, because we have bagged milk, when I'm feeling particularly petty, I cut the smallest hole possible. It may as well be a pinprick. Milk will come out at a slow dribble. It doesn't really affect my mum, aside from her sighing and recutting the bag when she tries to pour herself some milk. But it makes me grin. Edit, in case anyone gets mad about this, my mum finds it funny too, and if I really don't want to get her a glass of milk, I just tell her and she'll get it herself. Edit 2, my mum does not deal with COVID patients. She's on her feet all day, but she does not interact with COVID patients. There is a very low risk of COVID in her small workplace. 13 workers total, working in 2 shifts. She's not lazy, she is a wonderful mother, and I love her a lot. Her knee is messed right now, sometimes it's so bad she can't move. She has to go to the hospital for it a few times, and sometimes she can walk normally. We both have genetic knee problems. This petty revenge is literally just to add some humour to her and my day. I'm probably lazy, but I also have reasons for not wanting to get up for every 5 minutes to get her milk. I'm pretty sure this is incredibly harmless. She has to cut the bag a bit more when she fills up her glass, not a real inconvenience. I love this story just because it's pretty wholesome, right? It's like, it's a proper petty revenge. It's like, she isn't really harming anyone, the mother really isn't affected by it, but it's making her have a great day just by grinning and watching her mum struggle with that tiny little bit more. What do you guys think about this story? Let me know in the comments below. And I'm going to put a vote in the top right hand corner that says not petty enough or just the perfect amount of petty. Anyway guys, I had a bit of extra time, that's why I made this petty revenge today. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope it broke up your day just that little bit more. And I hope you're doing well, staying safe and all that good stuff. Love you to bits, and I will see you in the next one. Take care guys, much love.